just wasting your time, bro. Are you always the one putting in the effort? Wake up. Watch till the end and I'll teach you how to spot the signs and what to do about it. I used to spend weeks at a time talking to girls where I thought it was going somewhere. And I was always the one to initiate the conversations, and I'd get 1 to 2 word answers back days at a time. And then one day she'd act super interested, and they'd pretend they were really interested, and I'd get all excited, and then the next day they'd just back to the 1-2 word replies, maybe not even replying at all. They were always keeping me guessing, and I didn't realise it at the time, but I was getting played hard. Like, they were just bored, and whenever they like got bored, they'd just message me. I eventually got fed up, and I had a moment of brilliant clarity. I was chasing someone who didn't care about me, which was a fun realization. So I eventually just learned to, cut her off and stop wasting my energy and time on someone who didn't value me. How to tell? If you're always constantly putting more effort in and you don't feel like it's a 50-50 exchange, then that's a huge red flag and a big sign. If it's more like a 60-40, you normally start most of the conversations, but once you start a conversation and this conversation started, she chats, open-ended questions, you're both having a good exchange, that's fair enough. But if you're constantly starting the conversation, you're asking the questions, you're basically just carrying the conversation, that's not what you want. And if they don't seem to want to get to know you better, like when you're first chatting to someone, you're in that talking stage, and then you're getting to know each other. If you can't even get to that stage where you're getting to know each other, like if she doesn't care about just random stuff, if she doesn't care about what your favourite colour is, or what you do for a living, what your hobbies are, if she just doesn't seem interested in any of that, it's probably not a good sign, because it just shows that she doesn't actually care about who you are as a person. And on the topic of that, if you don't know how they feel about you, because girls do tend to make it quite tough to figure out what they're thinking, but if you look hard enough, you'll see the signs. I've actually just made a video on that. But yeah, if you look hard enough, you can see the signs that they're giving you, that they're interested, or if they're messaging you constantly, they clearly like you. If they flip-flop from messaging you all the time to barely ever messaging you, and you're not really sure how they feel, then that's not a good sign at all. And it's probably a sign that they're not that interested and they don't really care. And if they're always cancelling plans at the last minute, you're fucked. No, but if, say, you're meant to be going on a date, or you're meant to be doing something together, say you've already met up in person, and she's just constantly flaking out on you, then that's just, even if this is not like a romantic thing, that's just a sign of a not very good person. Because if you make a commitment to someone and to something, and then you just completely don't go through with it, it really reflects on your character. And honestly, if you're watching this video, and if you have to ask if she's wasting your time, then she probably is. I'm sorry to say it, but if you're already questioning whether you should spend your time on this girl or not, then you probably shouldn't. Because it should be clear if she wants to continue a romantic relationship with you, or pursue that and continue if she wants to continue developing the relationship towards a romantic way. It should be very clear, like I previously stated. So if you're already questioning it, then it's probably a no. and super childish thing that they always do. Always the low value, low quality women. They're always playing hard to get. Honestly, if you're trying to have a one-sided conversation and you're calling it hard to get, and you're playing hard to get, no, you're just being insecure and childish. And you do not want a girl who's insecure and childish. So why would you pursue romantic relations with someone who's playing hard to get? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, why do they do it? We'll get on to the how to fix it in a minute. Why do they do it? They do it because they have an avoidant attachment style, which is essentially where when they were younger, when they were very young or children, or essentially in their growing up, their parents showed them inconsistent love and they weren't always emotionally available. So when they'd go crying to their parents, sometimes they'd give them a hug and tell them, it'll be okay. And other times they would tell them to shut up. It's just very, very inconsistent love. But it also comes from the fact that their parents didn't let them express how they were feeling. So again, if they were crying because they'd fallen over or something, their parent would just tell them to, just shut up, don't cry, you'll be fine. If their parents parented them like that, then they have difficulty trusting others, and how I see it, they let you be around them, but they don't actually let you in. They don't let you into what they're thinking, what they're actually feeling, and they tend to be really independent, so it's really hard to get a grasp on how they feel about things. Essentially, they're just a really hard person to date, so you probably should stop pursuing romantic relations with avoidant attachment styles. And the rough thing is, anxious attachment styles, which are basically the opposite of avoidant. Like, avoidants will isolate themselves, they'll hide themselves away from other people, they don't need other people for emotional support. Whereas anxious attachment styles need other people for emotional support. They're a bit more like leeches, if you think about it. And an avoidant attachment style is the person trying to brush all the leeches off. They're trying to get rid of them. They just want to be on their own. Whereas these anxious attachment styles will just leech onto someone, and they'll just. It's just a really bad combination because anxious and avoidance they just mix together. And they will constantly be drawn to each other. And it's just an awful situation to be in. And honestly, if you're watching a video like this and you're being ghosted, girls are wasting your time, you're probably an anxious attachment style, and you've got some trauma to work through. Childhood trauma. So, how to fix it. This is the simplest how to fix it in any video I've ever made. Cut ties with them. Honestly, you do not want to be pursuing a romantic relationship with someone like this. You don't want to be talking to them, you don't want to be around them. Because as soon as they don't need you, you're nothing to them. You just need to cut ties with them. Don't get played around, because your time is valuable. You only got 24 hours in a day. Only 7 days in a week. It's not a lot of time on this earth. And if you're going to waste it getting played around by someone who doesn't care about your feelings or you as a person, then that really shows me how much you value yourself. Have some self-worth and see that she's playing you, bro. Anyway, if she's wasting your time, it's because she doesn't value it. But if you're getting ghosted, that's a whole other problem. And I've just made a video on that. So, go watch that. Hit subscribe. Have a good day. Have a hard day. And a great week. Mwah.